Welcome back to Gibbo MMA, and UFC Vegas 109 has just finished. Fluffy Hernandez gets the round 4 rear naked choke on Roman Dolidze. Wow, what a dominant performance coming into this fight. We knew that Fluffy Hernandez has absolute just a high pace, high output, high volume, take you down, let you back up, just beat on you. And that's exactly what he did to Roman Dolidze. But people really thought Roman was going to be a threat on the ground. They thought he was going to have the power advantage. And honestly, once it was 2 minutes into the fight, um, yeah, instantly knew this is going to be a long night in the office for Roman. He looked stuck in the mud, very slow, and Fluffy dictated the fight to his pace, and that's the result we get. What a performance it was. He ends up with performance of the night, Fluffy Hernandez, and he has put the middleweight division on notice. Holy Fluffy. Just gotta say, the middleweight division continues to get better and better. Yeah, overall, we are finally out of the Apex. We move on to Chicago UFC 319, DDP versus Hamzat, and I cannot wait. We got through these couple of weeks of these Apex cards. We got through it, guys, and we can now look ahead back to the pay-per-view, more stacked cards. But another night, another day, another card. With the Apex card, nothing too out of the ordinary. What was very much out of the ordinary, and we finally got a holy shit moment, was on the prelims. We had Elijah Smith with a power bomb slam on, how do I say this, Toshimo Kazama. He relinquished his inner Batista, his inner Rampage Jackson, and slammed, powerbombed him down. Kazama was going for like a triangle or something. Elijah Smith was in his guard, picks him up, and just drops him. Kazama, his back of his head just slammed back on the canvas, completely out cold. Followed up with two nasty shots. The ref should have been in there a lot quicker, but I believe Kazama's all right. He went for scans or something at the hospital, and I think he's doing okay. Nothing serious like brain injuries or anything, but that was a holy shit moment. And yeah, you get those on the Apex cards. You just don't know when it's going to happen. So yeah, like overall, just yeah, another Apex card. Nothing too much on the line outside of the main event. Top 10 guys. So Anthony Hernandez, he'll move to rank number 9, so he would take the Dolidze's spot. So he'll only bump up one ranking from this fight, and that performance shows he definitely deserves a top 5 guy next. A lot of the division is all booked up. I think pretty much all the guys are booked up in their top 10. So he'll just have to wait for the winner of probably Imavov or Borjalio at Paris, or RDR is a guy he could fight. Paulo Costa, but then he's fighting down. So yeah, the middleweight division is looking really good. Welterweight and middleweight, looking really strong, which is great to see. Because as we know, we're never going to have issues with the lightweight division. And yeah, so lightweight, welterweight, and middleweight are very much carrying the UFC right now. And yeah, it's very good as a fan, especially when it comes to the pay-per-view cards. We're getting great title fights, and just like we're seeing with the next card with DDP and Hamzat. So yeah, what do you guys think about Fluffy Hernandez's performance? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you were backing Roman Dolidze and if you were really shocked with how it went, because I was not shocked with how this fight went. Yum. Because yeah, I had my official prediction was round 4 or 5, but I put a bet on round 4 for Fluffy Hernandez TKO. That was paying $23 for a round 4 TKO. And when he got the submission, I was just like, oh, I was happy for him, but I was also like, oh, I would have won some good money. But yeah, round 4, pretty much spot on. He got the finish and did exactly what we were talking about in the preview. I'll just bring up couple of the notes we mentioned with he's going to just make this, he's not going to be afraid to go to the ground in the first round while they're dry, because as I said, Roman hasn't submitted anyone in 8 years, hasn't submitted anyone in the UFC, and everyone keeps glazing him about his submission threat, but we haven't seen it. And during the fight, he would roll and try and get Hernandez's leg, but it was just using a submission threat, I guess, to defend against the takedown, but I mean against the wrestling on the ground. But Hernandez, I gotta give it to him. Great coaching, great fight IQ to go. This guy, if he tries to go at this pace with me, he's gonna gas out so easy, because in the Vettori fight, when he went 5 rounds, he just no feints, barely any movement, footwork, and he got to dictate the pace with Vettori. Whereas this one, Hernandez is like, he threw in the pocket with him too early and was like, no, like, took him down, gonna ride him, make him get back up. So Hernandez, Dolidze would catch his leg in there, going for like a leg lock or something, but they're all slippery now. And Hernandez would just, kick out and then make him get back up. And that's using energy, going down and then having to get back up, reset, and then again on the back foot. And I love to see people execute a game plan and especially see a clear path to victory. This was a clear path to victory, and execute it, because yeah, there's a lot of times where you see fighters, you know that they know what the path to victory is, but they just get complacent and don't execute it. And I love seeing that. Great work by the coaches. And Fluffy, man, this guy's definitely fighting for a title. He will 80% chance, be fighting for a title. The other 20% just goes to, you never know what the next day is looking like in the MMA landscape. But yeah, this guy is definitely fighting for a title, I believe. And it could, like, him versus Hamzat would be great, because Hamzat's, got that offensive wrestling. And that would be just two guys just clashing, and it would be great stylistic matchup, because then it would end up might be a scrap on the feet if they're neutralizing each other's offensive wrestling. But won't try and get too far ahead of ourselves here. I'll move on to the co-main event. Steve Erceg gets back in the win column. Man, he got dropped in the first round essentially. Managed to survive the cobwebs, he ducked his head and grabbed for dear life on Ode Osborne's leg. Yeah, great show of resilience, because he was on that 3-fight win streak. And coming into this, he had to take this on a week's notice, because he already had 2 opponents pull out. So this fight was bumped up to bantamweight. Hats off to Ode. He was very quick in there. You could see the difference in speed between these guys, and Erceg just kind of would go into these exchanges and not exit cleanly. Hands would be down and just cop unnecessary punches. Great work by the corners for him. And then yeah, round 2 was pretty close, and then just again, optics of offensive wrestling always, if not pretty much will secure you around with the way the scoring system is. So he gets the second, and then the third because it was yeah, unanimous, yeah, decision. Maybe it was another one that was split. And then the third, yeah, last 2 minutes just had him on the ground, controlling him in that half guard. So well done to Ursig, Aussie's own, back in the win column because, yeah, he was on that 3-fight losing skid. And although he was versing a champion, a former champion, and a guy who just fought the champ, Kai France, like, they're still losses. And very happy for him to get back in the win column. Obviously, he wasn't. Obviously, it was on short notice for Osborne, but also Ursig, yeah, he was more in shape, I guess, but different style that he had to adjust to. So he had to adjust to 3 different guys for this fight. So he'll be cheering to just, even though it didn't look pretty, just to be back in that win, because a win's a win. And we move on to the women's strawweight. Lucendo gets a decision win over Angela Hill. I was saying this is going to be a bonkers fight. It was going to be a banger. It was going to get fight of the night. And first 2 rounds, it was looking like that. Those girls were standing, swinging, throwing the kitchen sink at stuff. But yeah, women's strawweight, hard to get some big knockouts. I had a little bet on Angela Hill by a knockout because it was paying $21. I was like, I'd be rude not to after all the shit I was talking about this fight. Yeah, and then that last round, Lucindo, again, great fight IQ. I'm up 2 rounds. I'll just lay on her for the remaining 2-3 minutes of the third round and get the easy win. So Angela Hill, she's 40 years old and Lucendo 23, so big. It was like a 17 age gap. Yeah, Lucendo, good fight style as well. Like, she's in there just, standing her base and throwing from the hip, which is good to see, entertaining. Right. All right, move on to the split decision fight. I thought it was a pretty clear 29-28 for Andre Fili against Christian Rodriguez. This was a good fight as well. Fili, the longer guy, was getting cracked early by C-Rod. C-Rod was brawling in and Fili was getting caught, and then he found his distance as the taller guy and was landing well with the check hooks. Was a really good counter puncher in this fight. And Andre Fili's 35. He's been around forever. I think this was like his 24th fight in the UFC. I'll just get it up. He's 25-12, his pro MMA record, and he's 13-11 in the UFC. So yeah, he's been around for a long time. Go back and watch the Ultimate Fighter with McGregor and the guy with the bum chin, Uriah Faber. And if you don't know, he's in that altercation where it's like, oh, there's a snake in the grass, and McGregor's like, oh, what are you going to do about it? And Philly's like, I'll do something about it. And yeah, so like, this guy's been around for a long time, Andre Fili, who loves his big booty Latinas. So do I, and he gets the win. Really, really good performance. So, and then we move on to another split decision fight, which was another good stand-up fight as well. Miles Johns versus Gene Matsumoto. And I thought that was pretty clear. 29-28 for Matsumoto. Great stand-up fight. A little bit of wrestling against the cage. Nothing too crazy. And yeah, both guys really put it out on the line. And yeah, both real tough chins. And Matsumoto, yeah, gets the win. And the first fight of the main card, Eric Anders gets finished by Chris Leroy Duncan, the English, who's from England. Yeah, a few fouls to start the fight. We had the eye poke by Duncan on Anders, and then he kicks Anders in the groin. So then you got 2 fouls in like the first 2.5 minutes, and it's like different fouls, but fouls are foul. And it's, I was talking about this the other week, like the NFL, you throw the flag, you got to get penalized. There was no penalization for these fouls again, and we'll get back to the main event with the fence grabs. Jesus Christ, what are we doing here? But Leroy Duncan then eventually finishes Eric Anders. So I think he was probably going to finish him anyway, but it's just like you can't be letting these guys get off with these fouls, especially when they go into finish blokes, and you're just like, man, um, yeah, it's just getting as we all like I say, cheating is encouraged in this, and if you do, you're not going to get harshly penalized. Like Roman Dolidze grabbed the fence like 4 or 5 times blatantly and held it until Herb Dean grabbed his hand off the cage. And Roman, before he got finished, was grabbing onto it. And then Herb Dean said, "Oh, that's a point now," after already giving him 2 hard, crazy warnings for egregious fence grabs, like just the most egregious possible. But he just knew, like, he's just going to warn me and I'm losing anyway, so I'll just cop the point because I know I got to finish him. So good fight IQ in a sense of like, okay, I'm down on the cards, I need a finish, so I'll just cop the. I've already been warned twice already without getting taken a point, so I'll just keep doing it until he takes a point, and then he instantly gets choked out. But yeah, cheating is not necessarily, it's not not encouraged, but it's like sort of rewarded, so that then makes it encouraging for the fighters because you're always trying to find an edge in the rules in the fight. You're always looking for those 1% of things, and right now they're just exploiting the rules and the way the refs do it. The refs, like I said, are consistently with being consistent with being inconsistent with the rules. So like their consistency is in not penalizing people. So, but that's the wrong kind of consistency you want in as a ref. So yeah, I don't know when it's going to change. I don't know. The fighters are just going to keep doing it, and because what's crazy is when they do change it, whoever's first, that if they do change it, is like, oh, but so now these guys have been doing it all these years, decades, and then now I'm the one that cops it. So it'd be interesting if there is a change. Um, but yeah, prelims, yeah, there was a few finishes on the prelims because yeah, the main card it went, one first round knockout, then we had 1, 2, 3, 4 straight decisions, and then a round 4 finish. So yeah, it was long, long-winded sort of event. Elijah Smith again gets that powerbomb slam. That Batista, Rampage Jackson even gave him a shout out because yeah, go on YouTube, search on Rampage Jackson Pride Powerbomb. I think he was like the first one to do it. Yeah, Rampage Jackson, if you don't know, that guy is like probably one of top 5 favorite fighters for me because he's in there to freaking entertain, put on a show. He's got the big chain, and he does the werewolf, and he's a really funny guy too. Go watch his podcast, the Jackson Podcast, and he's a really funny guy, and like the way he fights is just it's never boring, and he was he's a proper OG. Won the belt in Pride and then came to UFC, was a light heavyweight champ, fought John Jones, unfortunately lost, but just super entertaining. So yeah, go watch some Rampage Jackson fights. But yeah, women's bantamweight, Jocelyn Edwards, she might be the one that can save this division. She gets the first round knockout over Priscilla. DC and Dominic Cruz on the call were just saying like Priscilla's keeping her hands down, and eventually she got knocked out brutally. So Jocelyn Edwards was having some weight issues. I think she had 2 attempts to get the weight because she is a bit taller of a girl. Good stand-up striking she has, and she could climb. She's ranked 14 at the moment, and she could be, a future champ in this division. Yeah, she could definitely get a top 5 fight next for sure. Because yeah, she's got good power in her hands, and just got to make sure she can make weight. And then welterweight bout Uros Medic versus Obina. I was looking forward to this one. I thought this could have also been a potential fight of the night. Obina comes out, knocks down Medic in like the first 30 seconds. And we're like, oh boy, it's going to be a short night in the office for these guys and win for Obina. And then Medic gets up, composed, circles around, and then eventually gets his own knockout of himself and gets the win over Obina and knocks him out cold. So yeah, a good first round finish for Medic. Because I think what happened in his last, I feel like he won his last fight. Where is he? He moves to 11-3. Oh no, he lost his last fight. So, but yeah. So, and then yeah, Cody Brundage split decision again. Honestly, I didn't even watch the fight because it happens every time with Cody Brundage. Like he's always in weird, grueling, dragged on fights. So I'm not surprised at all. I kind of just saw a blip of it, and then I was like, yep, kind of not going to waste my time here because it's always a weird fight, or otherwise it's a very middleweighty. This was at light heavyweight, and yeah, split decision. Because he's fought a few times this year, but just not executing well. So, but yeah, that's Vegas 109 done. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this card. Get down in the comments. But yeah, Fluffy Hernandez gets that round 4 finish. That's what I had. Round 4 or 5 TKO, but he gets the rear naked. And this is the first time Roman Dolidze has been finished in his pro career. And that's the way to do it because, he's got a good chin and all that. You're not going to be able to just knock him out cold. You're going to have to just fatigue him, get him more tired because no matter how good your chin is, if you're that gassed out, that's when you start making mistakes. And, a guy with that submission threat just got choked out standing, got a standing rear naked choke by Fluffy. So the cardio and gas tank and being fatigued in fights, if you're running on empty, it'll expose you. You can go from looking like a 10 out of 10 fighter to a 1 out of 10 in an instant if you don't have the gas tank. And I think that's a lot of fighters' biggest fear is being tired in a fight, because if you are, no matter how good you are when you're fresh, if you're tired, all that goes out of the window. And Fluffy Hernandez is executing that well. He uses his cardio, a bit like him and Merab are like the absolute cardio kings right now, and using and weaponizing the cardio. They are absolutely running through these blokes with the cardio, staying safe, defensively minded, and making these guys work really hard and exposing them. And that's how Merab eventually got that finish on O'Malley, just not letting them get any space, not letting them think what to do next, always being on the front foot, giving them so many different looks. Is he going to jab, strike me, kick me? Oh, boom, level change, takedown, we're up against the cage. And that's what Fluffy Hernandez did. I'm going to have to go back and maybe count, but when he took down, see if it's in the fighter stats, every time he took down Dolidze, he would just keep him down there, ride him, and then just make him get back up and then get him back down again, up and down, up and down. And that's so taxing on the body and your gas tank. And just looking at some stats here. So we had 9 takedowns by Hernandez, 9 takedowns. So every time he took him down, Dolidze had to go back up because he just let him up, didn't want to engage and be in his guard. And so yeah, Dolidze had to freaking get up off the canvas 9 times, and that's very, again, grueling and taxing on your gas tank. And yeah, and that's where we end up. And I was very surprised to hear some people thinking Dolidze was going to win this fight. He was a pretty moderate underdog. And I just was like, there's just no way, unless he knocks out Hernandez in the first round. Yeah, there's no way he's going to beat him over 5 rounds just with the style of Hernandez. So yeah, that's Vegas 109. We move on to UFC 319. I'm going to do a special breakdown on DDP versus Hamza in a few days. So tune in for that next video. I'm super excited for this fight. I've spent a lot of time looking into both of these guys even more, not just also just outside of X and O's. So tune in for that. But yeah, enjoy the rest of you guys' weekends. Let me know what else you want to see. But yeah, be sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Catch you later.